Hi everyone, it's Amanda. How are you doing? It is the 21st of January 2019 and it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon here in the UK. So the lunar eclipse happened, I think it's about 5 a.m. So we're a good few hours after it. The thing to remember, of course, with an eclipse is that the energies, although they're very strong at the actual time of the event, they carry on for a good few months afterwards. So it really is as though we're in a corridor where we are going to be walking through whatever the eclipse energies have brought up for you. And I want to talk on this video about starting something and the difficulties that sometimes there can be when we do that. And I've got Michael Jackson's energy just all over this, I have to say. I've tried to actually do this video a couple of times, and so I already know that he's come through with a song, which is "Wanna Be Starting Something." I won't sing it, even though I've got a brand new microphone in front of me here. It's sort of begging out for me to sing, but I'm joking. I'm not going to sing. You can look up the song yourself. Want to Be Starting Something, Michael Jackson. That is the song of today. Okay, everyone. And yeah, the reason I've tried to make this a couple of times, excuse me, is that I'm using new technology. I'm wanting to do some public live streaming really soon. And I'm actually doing this with that technology, but I've just put it to private mode so I can have a little practice. Because it is like anything. I've entitled this video "Starting Something New." It takes practice to become proficient in anything. And so I've got a new webcam on my laptop. I've got a new fancy microphone sitting here. And it's also, of course, having to contend with my wavelength. What am I trying to say? Internet, broadband speed. So we'll see where we go with it. Those of you that contacted me last year with regard to being a moderator for my live streams, I've still got all your names. Okay, so, and there was also a lady that contacted me end of last year. I've got yours, Claire, I think it was. Hello, Claire. So I will be contacting you all soon because I will definitely need help with that to keep the space on the live chat energetically clean and to maintain the just the standards that, you know, we want to try and show on this channel, you know, fifth dimensional energy of love, not hate. So anyway, yeah, starting something new. So many examples. I can't believe that if you're watching this, there isn't even maybe just a little hint in your mind or something you've actually done or about to start that is new, because it's just everywhere. So my example that I'm going to share, because there's great symbolism in it, and it's a good analogy actually, of not getting it right first time, is today I went back to the gym. First time in probably a year, if I'm honest. And I have changed gym. And this one is one of those, I suppose the modern type of gym that's opening up now, where I think it's just intended that you just pop in and do your session and then you pop out again. So there's no sort of facility to sit around and chat and have coffee afterwards. There's no fancy changing room where you can, you know, the old gym I used to go to, half of the reason I never went, because it was such a palaver afterwards, you know, having your shower, putting your makeup on, doing your hair. By the time you'd done all that, the whole day was gone. So this is literally somewhere I can walk to, do the session, come back, get showered at home, get on with my day. But getting ready for it this morning, it was like I was going through my drawer of clothes, and it was like I haven't got anything. It was literally like I can see myself now in slow motion. It's like I'm flinging things out of the drawer. That doesn't fit. That's got a hole. You know, that's for summer. That's not right. That's too tight. That's too baggy. Of course, what that was actually showing was my own vulnerability, you know, my own insecurities around body shape and all the rest of it. Anyway, I eventually, well, no, there's another thing, even with regard to water bottles, actually. But again, what I'm trying to express by this is that You don't get it right first time. So packing my gym bag after I've got this slightly weird gym outfit on, trying to find a water bottle at home. We have got probably 20 different water bottles at home. A lot of them are these eco bottles, or they're ones that my daughters used to use for school or college. Could I find one that had a lid that actually fitted onto it? No, they were all like odds and sods. So again, I'm like this, I'm rifling through the cupboard. Can I find a bottle that just fits together? I ended up taking a very sort of one from one of my children's. It's a Mickey Mouse bottle. You know, it's just totally inappropriate really for the gym that I was going to, but that's what I did. Walking along the road, I had Freddie Mercury and my headphones, just trying to spur myself on. And I was thinking about Freddie as a guide in terms of trying to get ourselves fit. Because one thing that's come through to me from Freddie's energy, and this isn't new, this came through weeks and weeks ago. I don't think I mentioned it on the video though, is certainly when he was healthy, before he got very ill, he always had a very good body. You know, he looked after his body, and even to be able to perform on stage in the way that he did, and Michael as well, actually, you have to be quite physically fit. But Freddie in particular, you know, he was always sort of he was often bare chested. He seemed to be quite proud of his body. And so he sort of said to me ages ago, he said, you know, I can help you with that. I can help you with fitness. I can help motivate. I can help motivate you. And it literally is, it's like he's there like this coach in the corner saying, like, come on, you know, you've got to get up there. So I'm walking down the road, listening to Freddie Mercury, thinking, yeah, you can do this, Amanda, you can do this. And I'm thinking, yeah, it's really nice that Freddie's a guide here for me, helping me to get back to my fitness. And I'm thinking, I wonder whether Michael, you know, might be involved as well. And then within a couple of minutes, I walk past somebody's garden and there's a single black glove just lying in the lawn in the middle of nowhere. And I thought, that's Michael. There he is again. And then the song for today, going to be starting something, Michael Jackson. It's all interlinked. But I also love the way that all the different energies at the moment that we're experimenting with and integrating on this channel and with my work, they are also interlinked because, yeah, we've been focusing on, as an example, Freddie and Michael recently. But before I left for the gym this morning, I came into my room where I'm sitting now with all my sprays. And I thought, okay, you know, what's the color energy that I need around me today just to help motivate me? And I instinctively went for maybe one of the like primary colors, you know, a red or a green, or I was even drawn to Zadkiel to sort of like zap any negativity that was trying to prevent me from moving forward. But actually the one that really spoke to me was Mary Magdalene. And it was the Mary Magdalene Divine Feminine energy. And it was very much about Mary coming in and reminding me about why I was even doing this in the first place. Because, okay, it's all very well to get fit, lose weight, whatever. But really behind all of that is an act of love for yourself. It's about putting yourself first, loving yourself enough to actually exercise, loving yourself enough to try and eat the right things. So I loved that sort of blend of energies, you know, Mary Magdalene, and then there's like Freddie Mercury, there's Michael Jackson, there's of course Metatron as well. So it's just very perfect. But as I say, I'm just surrounded by examples of people who are starting things new, but equally not necessarily knowing how to do it or getting it right the first time. You know, my husband, bless his heart, he's downstairs now, and he's been trying to sort out my accounting for the last couple of years. And he's having to get to grips with PayPal and how PayPal works and how PayPal records different amounts of money that come in all sorts of weird and wonderful ways. And, you know, he's getting there. You know, he's starting to understand it. But it's like anything. The first time you look at something like a PayPal account report, you don't necessarily understand all the different columns and all the different ways that it can record information. So I just find it really interesting. And, you know, even talking to you here via this medium, I'm still sitting in exactly the same space where you usually see me recording, but the energy feels completely different because I'm recording it in this way. There's something about it being live, even though I'm in private mode at the moment, which is bringing in a whole different energy. What Metatron is saying to me is that it's a bit like, if you take an example of, he's showing me a TV series, and we have soap operas in the UK. I'm sure you do any other country around the world. And occasionally EastEnders, which is one of the soaps, they do live episodes. And the actors always say they get really nervous because even though they're doing exactly the same job, i.e. acting the part of Billy Mitchell or whoever they are, which they might do every single day of the week, they're used to going in and doing their job. As soon as suddenly it's live, it's like, oh my God, all my insecurities come out. And I'm really feeling that with this new medium as well. It's like, oh, you know, as I say, it's just me. I'm sitting in my room. There's nobody on the chat at the moment. So you're going to have to be really kind to me when I do my first live stream, because I'm going to be like a gibbering wreck, I think. But anyway, that's Metatron, pushing you out of comfort zone. Do it, you know, and I will. But, you know, I'm working my way up to it, like I'm working my way up to fitness with the gym, in the same way that my husband is working his way up to understanding a new way of accounting. Okay. So it's just something to bear in mind. Whatever you're doing at the moment, whatever you're starting, remember that it takes practice. It takes practice. And I'd like to just talk a little bit about that word practice, actually. Just have a little glug of tea. I'm very well practiced at having mugs of tea, as is probably everybody around the UK. I was chatting to somebody over the weekend who's depressed and trying to think about different things that may be helpful for this individual, and not necessarily interested in maybe the Metatron approach. That's fine. You know, everyone is very, very different and needs different things to help them. Just not open to that yet, more than anything. But so I started to talk about cognitive behavioral therapy, and I'm not a cognitive behavioral therapist, but I've not actually had it myself, haven't needed it myself, but I know people that have done it and who have benefited from it. And we're just going to use that as one example, because if you take that as an example of something that might be able to help you with, for example, depression, anxiety, it doesn't just click into place the first time. It takes practice. And you have to be willing, really, to put the work in, and to learn. It's this thing about learning a new technique, learning a new practice. It takes time. And we have to go at the pace that is right for us as well. I know another person that went through cognitive behavioral therapy. And of course, one of the things with that is it's very much about, we have to confront our fears. So this person had a fear about something in particular, and a suggestion was made. Okay, well, this is maybe a way around it. Could you do that for me? You know, and maybe report back in a couple of weeks. Just try it out. Just see if you can do that. And this particular individual didn't do it because they didn't want to face it. So anything, whatever you are doing, whether it's something like that, whether it's something like learning to run for the first time, whether it's learning a new job, whether it's getting to grips with a new course, education-wise, it takes time to get into the flow of a new modality, a new way of being, a new pattern of behavior. And we have to give ourselves that time as well. It was quite interesting as I exited the gym this morning. I'd already had to walk there, and I was walking back because that's part of it as well for me. I don't want to have to take the car. So it's a good half an hour walk there and back, which is nothing really. But when you're not particularly fit, on top of going to the gym, you know, I'd feel like I've done some exercise today. So that the gym manager comes up to me as I'm leaving, and I know him from the past place I used to go to. And he said to me, how was it? And I said, oh, I really enjoyed it. Thank you. Thanks very much. I said, I'm just starting slowly. And I think I did say I'm working my way up. And he was in his 20s, this guy. And he sort of said to me, he said, oh, yes. He said, next time you can come and go flat out. And I thought, no. That's exactly what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to be going flat out the second time, because if I did that, I would just be setting myself up for failure. And actually, there was really a bit of maybe immaturity there as well. It's sort of like looking at somebody who is in their 50s and assuming that they've got the same drive, energy, fitness level as somebody in their 20s. So, but I thought, no, I won't be doing that. I'll be going at my own pace. So go at your own pace. And it doesn't actually matter how slow that pace is. The point is that you just start. You just start. That's the whole thing about the song. You're going to be starting something. Okay, that is the energy that we've got today. That is the energy that this eclipse is bringing in. And if you haven't started something new, please think about something that you could start in 2019, and let that be a source of inspiration, a place of learning, spiritually and physically, and go for it is my guidance. Okay, so we had the new moon last night, didn't we? It was spectacular here. It was absolutely spectacular. There was a halo around the moon. It was sort of like a peachy red color. I mean, it's called the blood moon. I didn't stay up for the actual eclipse itself. 5 a.m. I think it was in the morning here. But I could feel the power of that moon last night was something else. It really was beautiful, and it was clear here as well, so we could actually see it. So I'm feeling very positive today, feeling very, very positive, but equally determined to go at my own pace with the changes that want to come through. And that's really the recommendation for you as well. I suppose really since the beginning of January, there has just been such a strong energy of purging. And this purging energy, which might have taken the form of some form of virus within the body, or it could have been purging in any other way that it might manifest. But I feel as though that's going to carry on for a little while longer. And it's good because real growth happens when you've weeded out every single last weed that could contaminate the fertile soil that you're wanting to grow something in. And it's the same in our life as well. So there's a lot of things that are coming back that we're being asked to relook at, whether that be old triggers, things that we thought we'd healed, that we were okay with. It's as though they're coming back for us to have another look at it. So it's important to see it in that context. If you do feel as though old triggers or old patterns or old things are coming back for healing, this is literally like the gardener, and you're the gardener. It's like your higher self is coming back as the gardener, looking over your patch of soil, and it might be very well weeded, but you might just have not noticed those one or two that are in the corners that actually have the potential to become real sort of like tangleweed, and they're going to be rooted out. So try to see it in that context. So it's a interesting mix of energies at the moment, because we've got this mixture of purging and letting go, which I still feel is a little bit ongoing, as well as welcoming in the new at the same time. It doesn't feel as though it is literally like one door has closed for another to open. It feels as though the door that is closing, but it's closing quite slowly. You know, we can see that it's closing slowly, whereas this other door is now wide open. So we're sort of dancing between the two at the moment. And if you remember that, then I think that's going to be quite helpful. So as it is the 21st and it is the supermoon day, let's pull some cards. And I've got two decks on my desk. I've got the Starman Tarot, which is the David Bowie inspired deck. Just show you the box. It's very beautiful, actually. Oh, good. And stretch. You see, even doing that, I can do my exercises. The Starman Tarot, that's what it looks like. And I've also got the After Tarot. So let's have a look. And let's just see what energies we are playing with as the eclipse energies are now here. So 21st of January. Let's maybe think about the rest of January. Okay, the rest of January. Let's have a look at what's coming up for us all. So the first, look at that. The first card that comes up is the card of the Sacred Clown, it's called. But this is the energy of the Fool. Okay, it's called the Sacred Clown in this deck. If I put that up to the camera, you can see it a little bit clearer. When I first got this deck of cards, I have to say, I was a little bit like, I'm not sure. Some of the images are quite obscure, and I was finding it quite hard to read because I'm very used to obviously the traditional images that are on tarot. But the more that I've felt into it, I actually love it because I think they're a great deck to use if you just want to read purely intuitively. So, okay, this is the card of the Fool. We can talk about that because the Fool is the one that is about to start a completely and utterly new journey with one little bag on his back, and that's about it. Okay, so that's us. That's starting new. But I just want to read this intuitively as well, because actually, if you look at this, I mean, that almost looks like the blood moon behind him, doesn't it? You know, it's not quite red, but it's an orange moon. It feels like it's very symbolic of the supermoon that we've just had. And it's looming really large. But it's also saying to me that it sounds stupid to say it, but it's behind him, okay? It's not in front of him, it's behind him. So allow the supermoon energies to settle a little bit. Today is about acknowledging that they're here. But then he's starting to take a few little steps away from it. He hasn't walked very far, actually, in this card. What else do I want to say? The other thing I want to say is that here I'm noticing the crowns at his feet. So it feels as though to be able to start this new journey as the Sacred Clown, the Fool, we have to let go of some of our, when I say earthly possessions, I'm not talking about giving away every last penny that you earn. I'm more talking about that some material things that you've maybe placed great value on aren't actually very important. You know, it's like they've been trampled into the ground here. He's not actually got anything on top of his head. He's not having to wear his crown. It's almost as though the crown, also these crowns at his feet, also to me feel as though they're linked into old statuses, or that no longer are applicable. He's very, very free. In fact, what's quite interesting is that the piece of clothing that is on him that I want to point out here almost looks like a little corset here. And the corset is actually supporting the, maybe the base chakra, a little bit of the base chakra, well, it should be a little bit low. It's basically its sacral and solar plexus energies are being supported at this time. Because if you think about the sacral chakra is our center of creativity. It's from which we birth everything. And then the solar plexus is, well, we have to be in our power and to have some confidence in ourselves to be able to birth those creative ideas into reality. So it's almost as though the corset is just holding those two chakras quite safe at the moment. But I like the fact the crowns are on the floor. He's actually barefoot. He's just barefoot, nothing on his feet. Crowns are at the floor. This reminds me of when I left my corporate career years and years ago, and I had to say goodbye to the trappings of success, you know, that I had with that. I had to say goodbye to the company car. I had to say goodbye to the good salary that I was on at that time. I had to say goodbye also to the status of, you know, I was this manager, I was in charge of these people, I worked for this company. And suddenly it was just like, I'm a healer, you know, and it's like, yeah, I'm a healer. And it's that whole dinner party thing, you know, of people put assumptions onto you and they put crowns upon your head based upon, are you the head of a CEO or do you work and do something else, you know? So it's like going forward into the future, a lot of these statuses, a lot of these material things that we've placed value on, they no longer matter. Okay, let's pull another card that goes with that. Oh, okay, just flown out of the deck. The Seven of Cups, the Seven of Cups. So the Seven of Cups traditionally in the tarot is the one which is about, okay, so you're on your new journey. You need to learn a little bit of discernment in terms of what is worth pursuing and what is not. Which cup is full and bright and shiny and good, and which one looks good, but actually, if you took a sip from it, would be quite bitter. So it feels as though us, as the sacred clown, as the fool, as the person starting anew, needs to be clear about what they are trying to achieve and what they're trying to achieve and why. Okay. So again, taking that down to a personal level, to give an example, me starting at the gym, I'm very clear that I'm going to the gym to lose a little bit of weight, yes. But more really, it's about mental health, you know, so I feel mentally brighter. Don't have the dips, you know, the lows that I can get if I don't exercise. So that's a number one for me. But it's also just about being fitter, you know, fitter physically. It's not about, I'm not looking at this as a cup here that's saying I'm going to join and suddenly I'm going to drop 3 dress sizes and look as though I'm 30 again. You know, that would just be an illusion. That would just be nonsense. That would be a cup that I could go towards that would ultimately just be futile because it's not real. It's not sustainable. So you go towards the cup that actually is the one that is that you've discerned is real, is grounded, is doable, and is something that you actually want. So the Seven of Cups. I also feel as though the whole pose here. Let me just tune into this for a moment. Hold on. The whole pose. What am I trying to say? See the pose? He's actually looking at us in this card. It's almost quite confrontational, isn't it? That's what I want to say about it. It's quite confrontational. And that's interesting because, again, when you start something new and you throw off all the old baggage, the old identity, that can actually be quite confrontational for people. Because what that actually does to other people that are stuck is it makes them start to shift and squirm a bit. Because what you're doing is you're showing them that it is actually possible to change. It is actually possible, in my case, to get fit. It is actually possible to change job. It is actually possible to change relationship. It is actually possible to downsize in terms of house, or it is possible to go and travel and just, you know, throw caution to the wind. But to the person that's very sort of stuck in the mud and like, you know, no, you know, despite all the portals, despite all the gateways, I'm just going to stay doing what I'm doing. I'm going to be firmly rooted in 3D as well. This is confrontational. This is hugely confrontational because what it's doing is it's pushing somebody else's buttons and saying, I'm showing you that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Type energy. So I feel that very strongly with that. Bottom of the deck, we've got the Chariot. Almost want to leave it there, actually. And then we've got the Moon. I am going to leave it there, those 4 cards. So we had 2 from the top, 2 from the bottom. So the Chariot. Okay, we are moving forward, whether we like it or not. Are we going to move forwards kicking and screaming and dragging our heels into the ground? Or are we going to be a little bit more graceful about it? Okay. And with joy and as much positivity as we can muster, try and walk towards the new, because that is the energy that is in town. And underneath it all is the energy of the moon. It's okay to still be a little bit confused. It's okay to be a little bit unsure. Do I know what I'm doing? Again, the analogy of the gym this morning. I went to go onto one of the bicycles and I couldn't get my feet in the stupid stirrups or whatever they call them. They've got the spikes on them. So I spent about 3 minutes trying to jam my trainer into this stupid thing. It was just like, oh, I was confused. It was like, it's okay. It's like, sometimes it isn't always naturally clear straight away. That is part of the learning process. Maybe you need to ask for help. Maybe it would have been better if I'd have actually said to the bloke next to me, what am I doing wrong here? All of that. The moon. Let's just go to the moon firstly, because obviously the supermoon. I mean, look at these two cards. Of the 4 cards we've got, look at that. These 2 very, very powerful images of the moon. But this one itself, well, the thing that it says to me straight away is that looks like the whole earth. Looks like the whole earth. So this feels as though the supermoon's energies, the lunar eclipse, remember, it goes on not just the next few days, it goes on the next few weeks, the next few months. It's bringing in big changes to our world. And what I want to say about this card is that I feel this is almost like the divine feminine energy saying, I see you. I see you. It's like, I see what is going on in the world. I see where the divine feminine principles are just being absolutely and utterly trampled into the ground and disrespected, or where they're not being allowed to grow, where there are so many weeds in the soil that it's impossible for the divine feminine energy to flow. But look, I'm here, whether you like it or not. And my energy is the one that's going to be moving forward onto this planet. So that's quite look at her eyes. If that's the divine feminine energy, that's the future of the planet. Look at that. Wow. Yeah. Let's have a look at the Chariot card. What do I want to say about the Chariot card? What I want to say about the Chariot card is I rather like the fact that the guy riding the chariot has got grey hair. What's that expression? Age before beauty? In all seriousness, the person that is in charge of the movement forward, whether it's in your personal life or whether it is in the collective, I want to say is an older, wiser, more mature energy. So take it down to yourself in your own life. Try to link into that part of you, whether you are 19 or whether you're 90, that actually is the mature adult self. This is like the mature adult self who has wisdom and who knows how to ride the chariot. Okay. In the UK, you have to be 17 to learn to drive a car. You have to have reached a certain level of maturity. You don't get a toddler behind the wheels of a car. It's the same with the chariot. The chariot is ridden by somebody who has got some maturity, physical maturity and spiritual and emotional maturity. So it's about linking into our mature side as well, because there's a lot that's coming up at the moment, and I've brought it up as well myself with the Michael Jackson energy, which is very much also about healing our inner child at the moment. And that's needed. Absolutely, that's needed. But equally, we all are multidimensional. So we have the inner child that just wants to play or do whatever it wants to do and be honored in that way. On the Michael Jackson video, I was talking about how the fact rollerblading down by the beach. But also there is, the mature side of ourself, which maybe also needs to be honored. Actually needs to be honored. I mean, age isn't even honored in our society. And I feel as though It needs to be. I almost want to put these two energies together. It's like the maturity and the divine feminine energy coming in. I don't know. It's just something there with that older guy with the grey hair. What else? One thing I love about these cards is that they incorporate a lot of sacred geometry. So can you see if I put that up to the camera? Here we've got, I think that's the flower of life. Yeah, it's the flower of life at his feet. And the flower of life, I don't think I've got one to hand, but is, oh, if I have, here we go. I just happened to have one I made earlier. That's a Blue Peter joke for people in the UK. You're going to get that. There we go, flower of life. So in all seriousness, anything that you're starting to try to create or begin, this is a great symbol to be focused on, because the flower of life energy is about creation. So what are you trying to create? So you could make yourself a grid, or just meditating upon the flower of life would be very beneficial at this time to help you achieve your goals, whether that be getting fit or anything else. Okay. So for me, just to give an example, me with my getting fit regime, I could make myself a little grid here. I could put onto this some crystals, some cards, some affirmations, some sprays that for me are almost like a support kit. And I could also put a photograph of myself in the middle of it, maybe a photograph of myself when I was a bit healthier, a bit fitter, that type of thing, right in the center. And then this is almost like a launch pad. This helps to support the energies that I am working on. It's like a physical manifestation. It's something that I can look at. It reminds me, it supports me. So that's another thing to remember. Something else I was going to say when I got that out about the flower of life. Maybe it'll come back to me. What was it? Don't know, can't remember. Okay. Let's just bring this energy in as well. The sun, the energy of the sun. The moon and the sun. Oh, wow. Thank you, Metatron. I'd forgotten I was even going to talk about this. But it came to me today with the whole thing about starting something new. And are you trying to approach it from a very masculine perspective or a very feminine perspective? And of course, the ideal way to approach anything new is to try to combine both the male and female within yourself. So the example of me coming in today and reaching for some sprays to use to help support me as I went off to the gym, I just said to you, my instinctive natural reaction was to go to the very primary colors, to go to Zadkiel, to go to Metatron, very masculine energy. And I always feel red is I was going to say red is a more masculine energy, although it's not really, because of course red links into the womb as well. But let's just go with the analogy I'm trying to say here. I wanted to go for energies that felt quite masculine and quite dynamic and like, let's do this, that sort of energy, let's do this. And then straight away it was like Mary that actually came in. She was like, no, hold on, Amanda, hold on, soften. Why are you doing this? Do you want a hug? Yes, please. Do you want a hug? Do you want a cuddle? Do you want me to just hold your hand? I'm being serious. What it taught me was, it's like, yeah, remember the forward motion of the chariot with regard to change needs to be fueled by the masculine energy of the sun and the feminine energy of the moon. Take that into yourself. It needs to be fueled by both your masculine and your feminine energies within you. If you're just going at it from one perspective only, it's going to be really imbalanced. And I tell you what, it's so ironic because, I've been changing this office around and I still don't think I've 100% got it right, because I live in a house which is 1930s. And, it's an old building and it's probably sagging a bit. Know how it feels. Sorry. There we go. we get a lot of subsidence in this part of the world, although I think our house is safe. But in all seriousness, I'm sitting at my desk and it's like I'm feeling like I'm on a slight slope to the left. Well, the left is the feminine side of the body. And that's the side that I'm working on. And the other day I said to my daughter, I said, can you just come and sit at this desk? I said, because is it just me or is it on a bit of a slope? I feel like I'm like this. And she sat at it and she said, no, what are you going on about? It's completely normal. Well, I've had 3 people sit in this seat now. Everybody feels as though it's completely on a level. I don't. I'm definitely, but it's correction. Okay, that's the whole point. If you're very either male energy driven or female energy driven, right now, what spirit is trying to do is it's trying to correct the imbalance. So I've always been more masculine energy. So it's always been about the need to work more on my feminine energy. Hence Mary this morning. So I just love that. So that's also really crucial right now. Whatever it is that you are trying to work on, trying to start anew, make sure you've got your masculine and your feminine energies balanced. You could do that with color. You could think about, well, what colors do I feel that my right-hand side of my body needs? The right-hand side being the masculine, if that is weak. And that could be some of the very strong primary colors. It could be blue, it could be red, it could be green, but it doesn't have to be. You know your own body and what it needs. If you have a weakness on the left side of the body, the feminine side, which means that maybe you're not very good at receiving or looking after yourself or nurturing yourself, well, maybe you do need, the soft baby pinks. I'm wearing a soft baby pink coloured jumper today. Again, that's another example. You can't see that this is a beautiful pink jumper because the lighting in my room still isn't right. Again, learning the whole time. Right. In fact, let me just show you something. They're just such great analogies. Hold on. Look at this. So this is the light that I have bought myself to light up my videos and myself. There we are. That is a halo light. So I bought it. I hadn't realised, to be honest, that it came in from America. But it's come in from America. And of course, it's got an American socket on it. So I've got to buy the transformer so I can plug it into the UK. So I can finally get the lighting right in this room. And I just haven't done it yet, but I will do. But again, it's another good example. It's like one step forward. Sometimes it feels like 2 steps back. But the point is, you are moving forward. You've just got to keep going. And again, like this, all looks very professional. But actually, right, the next thing is, well, how the hell do we use it? Of course, I know how to plug a light on. I'm just using it as an example. So you're going to be starting something, but it's not going to be perfect on the first outing. You have to keep going with it. I think that is the message of today. So 10 to 2 now, 42 minutes, 43 minutes. I'm hoping that I can now upload. Well, no, I don't even think I have to upload it. I think I just press a button and you see it. You see? Fantastic. All right. Lots of love, everyone. Hope you're all well. Next couple of videos that I'm going to be doing are, what are they? I'm not actually sure, to be honest. There's a few subjects that I've got on the table, as it were. We'll see how the week goes. We'll see how the week goes. I tell you what, I saw a painting last night. I think I'm going to have to buy it. It's of Michael Jackson, but it's amazing. He's surrounded by all this rainbow light. It's a painting. It's not a portrait. He's just dancing. He's got his arm out like that. All this rainbow. And I think I'm going to get it and stick it behind me. I'm going to have a sale of paintings soon, by the way, as well. I've got a lot of paintings, not the Metatron painting. He's not going, and that one's not going either. But some of the other ones I'm going to sell to make space for some new artwork. Okay, everyone. Lots of love. Bye for now.